those nights where it's hard to find things to laugh at. You know, terrible things happen every day. Tragedies, cruelty, injustice. And this is one of those nights. You all know what happened in Minneapolis.
Millions of Americans are shocked and horrified by yesterday's killing of U.S. citizen and 37-year-old mother of three, Ronny Nicole Good, by an ICE agent as she attempted to drive away.
What do you do when something terrible happens and a big group of people, including those who are running our country, tells you it didn't? They tell you you're not seeing what you clearly see. We're to believe this woman, unarmed mom, a devout Christian, by the way, who had no criminal record, was a terrorist committing a terrorist act? And the fact that ICE shot through her windshield 3 times, that was her fault?
Basically, ICE agents surrounded this woman's car and ended up shooting her when she tried to drive away from them. It looks like the incredibly handsome mayor of Minneapolis has something to say.
To ICE, get the f*** out of Minneapolis.
Okay. Look, to be fair, f*** ICE is what people in Minneapolis say most winters anyway, okay?
The full force of the White House and the commentators who have decided that their job is trying to convince us that a mom who just dropped her 6-year-old off at school was part of a left-wing terror effort. Our Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, said
these vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism,
which is just flat out
of domestic terrorism.
This unarmed mom, a devout Christian, by the way, who had no criminal record, driving a Honda Pilot, trying to get away from armed men in masks in the snow. Masked men were screaming at her. We're to believe this woman was a terrorist committing a terrorist act?
When you step on the gas, it's the same as pulling the trigger.
The officer, I think justifiably, shooting her in the face.
I think maybe all that Maybelline is poisoning his brain or something, because
the people in Minnesota are built different.
Demonstrators taking to the streets after the shooting. Some confronting ICE agents throwing snowballs.
That's right, throwing snowballs. First, we fight the oppressive police state, and then hot cocoa. Now look, people have been watching the video over and over until they end up with resting Kash Patel face. And it's already become just one more political Rorschach test in America.
And then we have the engineer who's been driving this crazy train when it comes to immigration, Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, Trump's other little penis. Stephen Miller, he is said to be the architect who's responsible for many of Trump's subhuman immigration policies. He said back in 2017, Steve Bannon introduced him to Stephen Miller, who was a young guy working for Steve Bannon, by saying, now this is a real fascist. Like, he went into a Taco Bell, he got splashed by a scalding hot Gordita Supreme and burned off his hair.
It's a senseless, yet entirely predictable tragedy. And our hearts go out to Ronny Good's loved ones, friends, and the community where it happened. Yes. By now, we've all seen the video. As reported by the New York Times, Good appears to be turning away from a federal officer, and as reported by the Washington Post, the agent was able to move out of the way and fire at least 2 of the 3 shots from the side of the vehicle as it veered past him. It sure looks like a federal agent gunned down an American citizen without cause in front of witnesses on a city street. But the administration is telling you that you didn't see that. Homeland Security Kristi Noem rushed out and said this.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and rammed them with her vehicle.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you lying over your hat.
You should watch the video because it's important for us to know what happened and what is happening, because if we don't, it's definitely going to happen again.
This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent. This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer.
Our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow.
Thank you for weighing in, and sorry to interrupt your girls' weekend in Nashville.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them.
Okay, what are you talking about? Because maybe you didn't see the video clearly because your stupid hat is blocking your vision.
And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV.
I mean, wait, is this why Kristi Noem shot her puppy? I mean, did she think it was trying to ram into her with a car? I don't know. Maybe This was barely 2 hours after the shooting, and without any investigation, Noem had already decided that the woman deserved it. But later that day, once more facts came out, she ignored those two and doubled down.
People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations and then to run over anybody who gets in their way.
I am outraged that you would inflame the situation with divisive and charged accusation. But that is a cool costume change, okay? She went from cowboy to undercover cop at a high school party.
Somebody had to go out to try to justify this, and Trump wasn't going to do it, so he tapped that old sofa pumper JD Vance to go out there and to defend the indefensible.
This was an attack on the American people.
No, come on. I mean, this was not an attack on the American people. This was an attack on one American person.
I say attack very, very intentionally because this was an attack on federal law enforcement.
That guy is one spoiled Wendy's Baconator away from being the president of the United States.
When somebody throws a brick at an ICE agent or somebody tries to run over an ICE agent, who paid for the brick?
Great analogy.
I think she is a victim of left-wing ideology.
Well, we think she got shot by an ICE agent that you and your boss sent into Minneapolis. I think maybe all that Maybelline is poisoning his brain or something.
I can believe that her death is a tragedy while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making.
I never thought I'd say this, but I miss Mike Pence. The ICE officer was, as Kristi Noem put it, following his training, which how stupid do you think we are? I find it hard to believe that even people who love Donald Trump would go along with this, but I guess they do.